Hello, in this video, we are going to subtract rational functions. And in this one, you can see there are going to be 3 terms instead of 2. So this one's going to be a little more difficult. The first thing we're going to do is make sure we have everything factored on our denominators. We can clearly see that x squared minus 1 is a perfect square. We know perfect square is a squared minus b squared is a minus b times a plus b. So this will become x minus 1 times x plus 1. So we are going to rewrite everything first. And here we go. I am not a big fan of the red, so let's change it to black really fast. Wrong button. Let's change it to black really fast. All right, cool. Now, the next thing we're going to do is find a common denominator. The common denominator are all the different pieces. We see this one denominator is x minus 1. The next denominator is x plus 1. And we see that x minus 1, x plus 1 repeat for that third fraction or third rational function. So we don't need to repeat them. It's already there. Now what we want to do is combine all of these fractions. And in order to do that, we need to have a common denominator. So we're going to take our common denominator and make that what each denominator for each fraction will be. So we need to multiply each fraction by what the denominator is missing to the top and bottom. So we see 30x over x minus 1. The denominator is missing x plus 1. So I will multiply top and bottom by x plus 1. We see the next one, 5 over x plus 1, is missing an x minus 1. I will multiply top and bottom by x minus 1. The third fraction is not missing anything. It has both x minus 1, x plus 1, so there is no need to multiply it to anything. Next, we're going to rewrite the numerators. First thing we do is keep everything in parentheses. We are not going to multiply just yet. We're going to rewrite everything down and we will clean it up a little later. We see we have all of those numerators written down, x plus 1 times 30x, negative 5 times x minus 1, and minus 10. We're going to put all of that over our common denominator because that's what we were doing. We created that common denominator so we could do this. Now, all we need to do is distribute, combine like terms, and simplify, and we're done. So we can see this first distribution step will be 30x squared plus 30x minus 5x plus 5 minus 10. And all of that is going to be over our common denominator still, which is x minus 1, x plus 1, because nothing has changed down there. It's still just hanging out. Next, we're going to combine like terms, and we can safely see that this is going to turn into 30x squared plus 25x minus 5. And all of that is going to be over. That was not a good line. Let's just draw the straight line. All of that's going to be over x minus 1, x plus 1. Okay, next we need to simplify the top. I can see that I can pull out a 5. It has a GCF, 30, 25, and 5 all have a factor of 5. So I pull out the 5 and I'm going to write what's left. So now we can see that this on the right is going to be a little easier to factor now. I'm going to take that 6x squared plus 5x minus 1, and we're going to x method that. 6 times negative 1 goes on top. That b value comes down. We'll put it over 6x over 6x. If you forget that base function of x method, it is right here. We create that x, a times c on top, b on bottom, over a of x over a of x. So then we're going to find factors of negative 6 that combine to 5. We see it's going to be a negative 6, a positive 6, and a negative 1. Positive 6 minus 1 is a positive 5. Then we will simplify the fraction that can be simplified, and then rewrite denominator keep sign numerator, denominator keep sign numerator. And thus we have factored. So now what we're going to do is continue the problem. So first, let's make sure let's clean this up a tad by making it a bit smaller. And then let's continue. So now what we can see is that so I'm going to just rewrite this over here as well. This is going to be rewritten as 5 times x plus 1 times 6x minus 1 all over x plus 1, x minus 1. And we can see that the last step would be to cancel those x plus 1s, and we have our answer as now finally 5 times 6x minus 1 all over x minus 1. So these can be a little longer, but they're not too bad. The step is get common denominators, multiply by the fractions from what the denominator is missing, top and bottom, combine your numerators by distributing, then combine like term in your numerator, simplify your numerator and factor, cross off anything that crosses. And that is it.